This is our podcast where we belly flop into the bouncy house of mystery, surrounded by conspiracies and unexplained phenomena, with theories so bizarre they may actually make you say,
"Are they thinking with their butt?" Welcome back, everybody.
wow. Nice to agul you. Target. Welcome back. I'm Chris.
And I'm Katie.
And this is our spooky Halloween series.
Our number 3 episode in the spooktacular spookiness.
Oh, and we are so dedicated. I have makeup on. And apparently
with no prompting from me.
Let's try and get in the spirit.
Came out of the room with eyeshadow on.
So I can't find my old Renaissance like black makeup or anything. And so I was using improv.
Your makeup collection.
Regardless, when I walked out to ask my daughter how I looked, she said I looked tired.
You do. And then when I first saw you at first glance, I was like, oh boy, you look sleepy.
Yeah, so it was a small effort. Apparently not full blown. But it's all good because we have candles in the room. We have the lights dimmed.
The lights are out. The candles are ablaze.
We even took some of our bookcase.
You took my crows, my
black crows.
bookends.
Yeah, now they're in
off the bookshelf, and now they're on our table.
Spookifying it. Before we get too much into,
I haven't shaved my legs in like a week. That's pretty spooky.
Spiky. One quick admin note. Mm-hmm. So your brother Mark listens to the show,
and he's an English major.
So he called me out last episode.
He did.
Where actually 2 episodes ago, where we said Lord Byron wrote the original 1819 vampire book. Mm-hmm. And it was actually not Lord Byron. It was his physician known as
John Polidori.
And apparently it was released April Fool's Day with Byron's name on there because apparently everyone thought that he was a blood-sucking person and they didn't like him and things like that.
So it's kind of like
a joke, but that was incorrect. And so again, there were actually books published with Lord Byron's name. I saw that, and so therefore I assumed it. But, internet. And so now we know the backstory on that. So there's my admin correction for the day.
Done.
Yeah.
Deal. Anything
that you want to add for the weird or?
Nope, just that you're in makeup again.
Again. Hey, it's okay because tonight's tale of horror lies within the paranormal and one's own choosing to enter into the unknown to contact spirits, demons, and perhaps one lost love.
Ooh.
We, of course, talking about the Ouija board.
Oh,
look at her get scared already. I know we've never owned a Ouija board or played with the Ouija board, but every time we've brought it up, you have just been like, no! Exactly. That's so fun. So that is the story for today. So the Ouija board, also known as the spirit board or talking board. Basically, for those who do not know, it's a flat board with letters with the English alphabet, the numbers 0 through 9, words like yes and no, hello and goodbye, and it typically has a planchette or a small heart-shaped piece of wood or plastic with wheels on the bottom as a movable indicator.
Not really wheels so much as like smooth, stubby wood. It's just a
correction.
smooth.
The older ones did have wheels.
Really?
The newer ones, like with like the board games or whichever, probably just have felt or it just has to be smooth, right? Just a smooth transition so that whoever you're contacting can spell out messages during the seance.
I don't like it.
This was created by French educator and one of the eventual founders of spiritualism, Allan Kardec. Apparently he recorded, go ahead.
Just stupid.
Like, I thought you were going to correct me, but you're just like, why would he make that?
I'm just like, who, what?
So, but no, well, he only invented the planchette.
Planchette.
There you go. Planchette.
Not
I mean-
planchette.
Planchette. So Alan Kardec recorded the invention of the planchette on June 10th, 1853, in the fever of modern spiritualism movement and spirit communication as it reached Europe in the early 1850s.
Yes.
Alan's planchette was inspired by watching a seance and its participants using a laborious process called alphabet calling and rapping responses. Think of like Morse code.
Oh, so it would be like A, B, or whatever.
Yeah,
Just
just Morse
say
code.
every letter, and every time they got a response, they'd be like, okay.
Pretty much. And so he was watching this and he wanted to simplify the communication process. And so the planchette was created. But at the time, it was still in that heart-shaped device, but it had a pencil attached. And there was paper underneath it. So, to allow the spirits to assist the host in writing letters and words rather than use tapping.
Yeah. So it would draw a line to connect the letters.
Well, keep in mind, too, they didn't have letters or the talking board yet. It was just
going to spell it out?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a few groups were actually against this new invention that made it so easy for people to have the ability to communicate with spirits. One of the groups was the bishops of VVA. You know what that is?
No.
That's a fancy way of saying the Roman Catholic diocese.
Diocese?
Diocese. Oh my gosh, these words. Yes, exactly, right?
So what's the first word you said? Because now I don't think you said it right.
VVA.
Let me look at this.
No, it's called VIVIERS, but it's pronounced the VVA. Or VVAs.
Pause. Okay, pronunciation check. You are correct.
Of course. So the bishops, the bishops of VVA, again, a fancy way of saying the Roman Catholic diocese,
Diocese?
Yeah. Which is another fancy way of saying the Achilles. Oh my gosh.
You're not a fancy guy.
Ecclesiastical. Ecclesiastic. Oh my gosh.
Ecclesiastics?
Ecclesiastic.
Oh my God.
Yes. So many hard words in this notes. Ecclesiastical.
Ecclesiastical?
Yes, ecclesiastical. Okay. So, what I'm getting at is
words are hard.
It is. And they were under the jurisdiction of a bishop. So, with all that, it's basically Roman Catholic governance. There you go. Who comes up with these names? This is bullshit.
I can't not take the smile off my face. I love you.
So these bishops rallied against their use and even wrote a pastoral letter in 1853 on the devilish ways people were using this device to contact demons and maleficent spirits. I even found this document. Trigger alert. It's very, very dull.
Oh.
Here's just a quick excerpt from this.
Yeah, a lot of these older texts.
We would hope that the Romanism cannot withstand even the popular influence of our country. Bestowed ignorance cannot long prevail in the land of free schools. Servile superstition much gradually declined in land of free inquiry. Priestcraft and impostors cannot long flourish in a land of newspapers. They can hardly fail gradually to emancipate themselves from the thraldom which has been imposed upon them in the times of ignorance and imposture.
Done.
Wow.
Right? So it just continued like that for a lot of pages.
Explain that.
Nope.
In layman's terms.
Layman's terms, they said, don't use witchcraft.
Don't be fooled by
Witchcraft. There you go. And impostures and other things.
It sounded a whole lot like, don't try to broaden your horizon, remain ignorant and such.
Well, they're saying that because there's free press and whichever, there may be things that are beyond the church and listen to the church's information.
Don't listen to anybody else. But yeah, that's kind of how it, yeah,
pretty much. So the church did not like what was going on with these planchettes. Others who opposed the use of planchettes were also more traditional spiritualists themselves, because they, who at the time, they still largely relied on the services of celebrity mediums to lead spirit communications. So these do-it-yourself devices cause mediums to see their monopoly, i.e. money, threatened. And so they rallied against the people using these new device. And they warned the dangers of untrained amateurs experimenting with the power of the beyond.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So they're like, wait, so you need to use me.
You got
Hire me.
You got your hand in the piggy bank?
Yeah.
That's evil.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing.
You're an amateur.
Oh.
I know what I'm doing. So
For $5.
for $5, I will make
Tell
sure.
you exactly what. Yeah.
I would set up a school on how to use the planchette. So one of these more famous celebrity mediums in the American spiritualist community that opposed this device was actually a trio known as the Fox Sisters.
I've heard of the Fox Sisters. This is very exciting. Okay.
Yeah. So they would tour and do live shows for money, and they were vocally against the use of this device when it came to America. The Fox Sisters came from Rochester, New York, and played an important role in the creation of spiritualism in America in the 1850s through 1890s. Leah, Margaretta, and Catherine Fox were highly successful mediums whose main act was the two younger sisters would go into a trance and start rapping, and the oldest sister would then... Give me a beat.
Drop that beat.
And then they'll interpret it, right? And then the oldest sister would interpret the communication. And one of the common spirits that they would commune with was called Mr. Splitfoot.
Interesting. Okay. Are you going to tell me if they turned out to be frauds or not?
Well, yeah,
Okay, great. Okay.
because in 1888, keep in mind, they've been doing this since the 50s, so like 30
So for
plus
30
years.
plus years.
They confessed that their rapping was a hoax.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they went to publicly demonstrate how they used the rappings to deceive the audiences. And so that obviously ruined their career, but it didn't end the spirit movement in America.
Did they get called out and so they ended up confessing, or did they just...
You know, I don't know, but considering how long they were doing it for, I would assume someone called them out or maybe blackmailed or some other random thing. I don't know why.
End of the 18th century, or excuse me, I think at the end of the 19th century, there was a huge, because spiritualism was so big, I think there was a huge, kind of like a witch hunt in terms of mediums and psychics.
Maybe not a witch hunt. I would use it as a people looking for frauds.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's, like
Yeah.
searching out the frauds.
And strange enough, almost within 2 years after they confessed, all three of them were dead of old age.
Oh.
So they're up there in the age when they
interesting.
decided to
Okay.
confess. It was actually an American gentleman named Robert Dale Owen who observed the device in use at a seance in Paris. Because apparently all these seances are like all the rave. Because every time I see a show or hear about the Victorian age, there's always seances going on.
Yes.
And it's like the fancy thing to do. And
That's what
watch.
I was telling you about in our Hermetic Order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, he saw this device being used and returned with several of them. And his friend, a Boston bookseller, G.W. Cortrell, saw the selling potential of the device and later became the first to manufacture the planchette on a large scale in 1859. However, it wasn't until 1867 when a British publication called Once a Week did an article on the planchette that printed in the American newspaper, and by 1868, dozens of booksellers and toy manufacturers were producing this item.
Toy manufacturers. That's what
manufacturers.
freaks me out.
One company claimed to have sold over 200,000 in the first year alone. Basically, after this article came out, it basically went back in their day viral, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it.
I just hate this though, because it's like, hey, Catherine, is your doll still moving on its own? That's so silly. Here, take this new planchette I just got you.
See if your dog can communicate
Go
with you.
see. Go have fun.
No, so it was like fashionable back then or
It was trendy.
trendy, which is weird because you have this big spiritual movement too, always in America.
Always.
And it seemed like it would be counter that, right? And so I'm surprised that so many people took it up. One of the reasons the spiritual device became so popular was the timing, because I said in 1868 is when a lot of these things started getting produced. Well, the American Civil War had just ended, and a lot of people
There
wanted
was so much heartbreak.
they wanted to contact their lost loved ones.
Oh no!
Yep. So that increased the demand for the device because
I
of
hate
that.
that.
So the evolution from the planchette that had a pencil attached to it to talking spirit to the now spirit board
that
we
so
know
sad.
today. Yeah. It actually occurred in like the late 80s when it transferred. With the new, they called them talking boards without the pencils, allowed even faster communication with spirits. However, where did they get the name? Where did we get this Ouija board piece? So it was believed that the founders of the Kennard Novelty Company in 1890 created the now infamous name. And Kennard's sister-in-law, Helen Peters, was a large shareholder in the company and was a known and claimed medium.
Okay.
So,
Did a spirit name it Ouija?
yes. So, when asked what they should call the board, she suggested the board name itself. So they conducted a seance, and Ouija was spelled out. And at first, that's how you spell Ouija board for those who aren't there. I know. And at first they were like, that's a lot of vowels. that's 4 out of 5 letter being vowels. And so they're like, I don't know. So they asked what they meant. And the board responded, good luck. And so I don't know what you take from that.
I'm like, okay, it could be two things.
Yeah,
it could be literally like it means good luck, or it could be like, well, good luck figuring that out because it's a demonic word that means hello.
Just something bad.
Enter. All are welcome. It's like ding, 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 dinner bell.
So in my research, there doesn't appear to be any other meaning to a Ouija.
It's better than board calling itself Tiffany.
Yeah.
Becky.
Meat snacks.
Meat snacks.
So.
Cheese bags.
No, but I'm like, I thought, well, maybe that name came from somewhere or it had some other meaning than this board. And there's no historical or spiritual explanation or connection.
It can't be found anywhere else in history?
Not that I could find. It was completely, if you look up any dictionary history, it's all related to the board.
Oh, interesting.
Very interesting.
Okay.
So, even though it said good luck, her luck didn't last long for Helen.
Because, I don't even want to say the word anymore because it means something bad.
What? Ouija?
Yes!
So shortly after the naming, some Civil War heirlooms went missing from her home. She contacted the spirits through the Ouija board, and it spelled out a family member's name. So her accusation of her relative tore her family apart, and it resulted in Kennard being forced to sell all of her stock in the company.
Oh.
And they kicked her out. Later on in her deathbed, she was asked about the Ouija board, and she stated, "Don't play the Ouija board. It lies."
Oh.
So now the question is, do you think that this is some weird marketing for the game to kind of like make up for her family? Like, it's going to sell big if I say this phrase.
Or maybe
did she really hate the game and believed it lied to her?
Maybe she literally found all the missing heirlooms like in a box a month later.
I think it just brought her pain and misery. I don't think it was a marketing scheme.
I think she just was derived bad luck.
Yeah, so she's like, do not play it.
Yeah.
When Kennard went to get his new talking board name patented to protect his investment, the chief patent officer demanded a demonstration.
Oh.
He asked the board what his name was when they set it up, and to his horror, it spelled it out.
Okay.
Ooh. Now, it sounds kind of spooky, but keep in mind, one of the founding partners of the novel company was also a patent attorney.
Okay.
So it could have been easily known what that chief's name was.
I was like, it's probably common information. And is this, you have to have your hand on the plant check, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it could just be that if I'm looking at you and you're like, what's my name? And I just spell Chris.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could. But who knows? You know, there's a lot of different ways that you can fake it. Or someone in the back room could be like, wrapping it to you. Yeah. And then you can move the thing. Who knows how they communicate. But either way, the board spelled its name. And so in 1891, the patent was granted. So the game grew in demand and multiple factories were created in America and London. Some saw the Ouija board as a innocent parlor game, not related to the occult. And I think that's one of the big reasons why it was toy manufacturing and all these other places, because it wasn't seen as an occult or a devil thing.
Which,
at this
like, how
point.
do you not ever see it like
Well, because
that?
they have the spiritualism. They thought spiritualism was
Because they thought it was all innocent.
pretty much.
Yeah.
The spiritualist Pearl Curran popularized it in 1916 when she used it, the board, to write an award-winning book.
What?
She stated that she couldn't take credit as she used the Ouija board to transcribe the voice of Patience Worth, an English woman killed in the 16th century.
Tell me more about this book and person.
Well,
I don't think you have more.
I do have more. So there, and we'll talk a little bit more because there's multiple people who claim to be inspired or their work came from like the beyond.
Yeah.
And so this person claimed this English woman. However, years later, when confronted and
So was she asking
she connected with the spirit, and the spirit could have conversations with them. And
so
apparently,
was she like interviewing the spirit, or was it? What
That's
was
how it
this
kinda
book
sounded.
about?
oh, I don't know.
Is it a biography
I don't
on
know.
Patience? What's her name?
Patience Worth.
Patience Worth.
Yeah. I don't know what the book is actually about, but just know that she was inspired by the book. And so that drew attention to it because I was the first person who basically said, look what you can connect
give
to.
me
And if
credit.
I can get this much information, how much information do you think you can get if you just want to know simple things?
Yeah.
Not a whole book's worth.
Yeah.
So this brought, again, a lot of attention to the Ouija board, and similar to the pain and death brought on by the American Civil War, this occurred during World War One. And so, again, the sales went through the roof after World War One. And during that time, it has been perceived through, a lot of different lenses. Some saw it as a primitive belief system that con artists use to part fools with their money.
They're just preying off people who are
Vulnerable. Yep. Or to real connections with those that have passed. Regardless, the use of the Ouija board became normalized after World War One, and avoided the large negative stigma.
Yeah.
So much that, have you ever heard of Norman Rockwell?
Yeah.
The famous painter?
The famous painter.
Yep. He even drew a picture of a couple playing it on the Saturday Evening Post.
Yeah, that's true. He did.
Yeah, so that's how common it was and not bad it was too. Right, so the talking board continued to have spikes in popularity during the Great Depression, World War II, and basically any time that the world was feeling pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 1966, it was bought out by the Parker brothers.
I was going to say
very
Hasbro,
famous.
Parker Brothers. Yeah,
Yep.
that makes sense. Okay.
So they ended up selling over 2 million copies following the Vietnam and the race war of the 60s and 70s. So how did this commonly placed and mostly accepted game become a cult classic of evil and horror? Do you know?
It's kind of continue.
So right now we're in the 70s, so everything seems to be okay. Well, the Ouija board started to make appearances in movies, starting in 1960 horror film 13 Ghosts, and later in one of the most popular films of all time, The Exorcist.
Are they playing with the Ouija board during the party at the house?
I don't know about the party, but the main character does play with a Ouija board. And we'll talk a little bit more, but The Exorcist at the time, think of it as it was radical for its age.
It was extremely forward thinking in terms of
Fright.
and
Yeah, so you had
and spiritualism.
You had audience members passing out during the movies. You had them running out of theater screaming. So in The Exorcist, a Ouija board was used by the young girl, Reagan, who makes what first appears to be a harmless contact with an entity named Captain Howdy.
Captain Howdy. That's right. It's been
However-
a while since I've seen that movie. When was the last time you watched it?
Very long.
It's actually still it's scary.
We probably need to watch
the
it
more
again.
recently I've watched it,
Have we watched it with the kids
scarier
yet?
it is. No, I would not. No.
No,
no.
They're old enough now.
No.
I think we should.
No.
So she plays it with an innocent Captain Howdy spirit, but then later she comes possessed by a demon. So this movie single-handedly changed the perspective of the Ouija board.
Really? That's where it started?
Yep, to that of something that could open the gates of hell for Satan to enter. That was like the turning moment. So did you also know that the movie was actually inspired by a real case scenario?
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah. So it was a 13-year-old boy named Roland Rowe in 1949, and he was given a Ouija board by his aunt. It all originated from the Ouija board.
All my nieces and nephews, guess what you're getting for Christmas this year?
Woo!
Oh, my dearest love, why did you insist on going into the woods alone? I know you're a hardened male role model, but you don't have to prove it. What can I do for you? What do you need?
The only thing I need now is something from Triangle Coffee Company.
You mean like their dark roasts? Or their decaf?
No, something new. Something different.
Like what? Tell me, they have so many new blends. Maybe something like Dolce? Or peppermint-infused Crystal Castles? Or are there other flavorful medium roasts like Tic Tac?
Something festive. Maybe like their pumpkin spice flavor blend called Ghost in the Machine. Yeah, that's what I need.
Anything, my dearest.
Oh, one more thing.
Yes, my love.
Take these pictures to the press. Now that we've captured Bigfoot on film, the world needs to know.
Oh, Chris, don't leave me. How will I navigate to trianglecoffeecompany.com without you? I might forget to enter STWYB at checkout to save 15%. STWYB. Why did you have to be such a man? Oh, it's coming back.
Even before the success of the film, it was a book, and it was released a few years earlier by William Blatty.
Okay.
I think that's how you pronounce his name. Blatty, Blatty. So he wrote the screenplay for the Exorcist movie, and he was inspired to write the novel because he read the unofficial diaries of the priests who handled the Roland Doe case.
Yeah.
And that's what inspired him to write his book. He believed a demonic possession took place in Roland, and following the readings, William began being obsessed with the Ouija board, and he spent a 10-day binge playing with the board, and strange things happened.
Oh,
right?
Interesting. And I know that they changed it to a girl because they wanted the audience to be more sympathetic.
I like it. When he was playing with this Ouija board, the phone started to jump off the holder, the typewriter would start typing gibberish, and other poltergeist type of activity. Fun fact, The Exorcist was the first ever horror film to be nominated for Best Picture in the Oscars.
Yes. Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, I knew it was nominated, but I didn't know it was the first ever.
For a horror movie to be nominated for Best Picture. And William Blatty was awarded an Oscar for Best Writing or
That's
the adapt
awesome.
screenplay. So like
That's
from a
awesome.
book to a movie.
I actually thought it was Nosferatu, though, was first nominated. So that's cool.
So now they may have been nominated for other categories,
Yeah,
but in
yeah.
terms of the Best Picture, which is like the all, it's like the creme de la creme type of thing. Creme de la creme.
Creme de la creme.
Yeah, something like that. Shortly after the film release, churches across the country started to boycott and condemn the Ouija board. Some churches banned their use, and in 2001, a church in Helimadoro, New Mexico, went so far as to have a massive Ouija board burning. Yeah. And, just for fun, they threw in Harry Potter books as well because they were also from the devil.
What year was this?
2001. Isn't that when like the Harry Potter started coming out, give or take?
When did Harry Potter come out? I freaking love Harry Potter, man.
Yeah, but they also tie that with devilry. And so they burned all the Harry Potter books that were out.
I knew that there was something about it. Well, because it's like witches and wizards. November 14th, 2001 is when Harry Potter was released.
So that's probably why the 2001 whole thing, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And that was just a book, right? That wasn't in the movies or anything. That was
That's just a book.
Wow. Man, they were quick on it.
They
right?
were really quick on that.
I'm glad they're on it. Later on,
You're a wizard, Harry.
in October 2020, paranormal investigator Paul Marsters, he had a problem with the Poundland selling Ouija boards
Poundland?
for £1. England.
Oh.
So that's basically the dollar store equivalent, right? Poundland.
Oh, dollar store. Poundland.
Yeah, so there's a fun fact for everyone.
Poundland sounds so much better.
So he was saying that these things shouldn't be in the hands of the untrained. And with only £1, that were just too cheap and for too easy access.
It's too easily
anyone
accessible.
any kid can pick it up. Right? Yada, yada. So lots of,
Yada, yada, yada.
so there's a whole bunch of internet.
Did you know you can buy demons at Poundland?
How much?
Just a pound.
Oh, £1 for £1 of flesh. So I was thinking about having like all these weird stories, but there are so many
negative
internet stories of things manifesting, moving physical objects, or being personally attacked by a shadow, hearing voices after the game. But a lot of creepy messages too, right? So here's a quick couple of strange facts for the episode. Poet and a Pulitzer Prize winner, James Merrill, claimed to have used the Ouija board to write his famous poem, The Changing Light, at Sandover.
It's so famous. It's like...
You never heard of it?
Yeah.
Well, it's poem. No one knows poems. No. Poetry. What is that? Listen like you're in the 1600s. No one knows you. Oh, I know. You have a passion for poetry. My bad. You look so sad over there whimpering.
Poetry's beautiful.
Yeah. So James...
I'm like basically a zoologist poet, and you knock it every episode.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, and you know it, because you're so poetry rhymes. Right?
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. So James spent 20 years transcribing purportedly these communications used during seances.
Wait, how many years? 20 years?
20 years.
Wow.
Through his Ouija board, resulting in not just that one poem, but multiple poems and books, winning the National Book Award for Poetry and the National Book Critic Circle Award. And so that's what...
Was he taking credit for all these, or was he giving it credit to...
No, he was giving credit to the Ouija board.
Oh.
Like, it was even in his poetry stuff.
But in the Ouija... Did he ever ask the Ouija board what their name was?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. He was inspired by it. I don't know if he went onto detail and, like, credit a person.
He didn't say, like, the poet is talking to me from the beyond, and their name is Simon Cartwright, or whatever?
Be aware that people are saying this and writing good works.
Okay.
And then there was another famous Ouija writing, came in 1917, shortly after that 1916 lady who had the patient's worth.
Yeah.
From Emily Grant Hutchins, who claimed her book, Jap Heron, was created through the use of the Ouija board after contacting the spirit of Mark Twain.
What?
So it was Mark Twain telling her the story to write.
Interesting. Did she give credit to Mark Twain?
She did. She said inspired by the spirit or through the spirit of Mark Twain. Yeah, as like a selling point.
Interesting.
So not only did she write the book through the board, but her and Mark...
Was it just wishful thinking, though? Well,
she also said that her and Mark Twain would have many conversations about different things. She was all into it. She was all in on that crazy pool.
There's so much that could be said. It could be that she was moving things around, that she was just being really hopeful, that it was a spirit pretending to be Mark Twain, that...
Well, it was clarified when Mark Twain's daughter, Clara, sued her for using her dad's name.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
And so she changed her story and said she made it all up.
Yeah.
So, similar to the other one in 1916.
I could literally sit here and be like, Abraham Lincoln told me to write this book.
Yes.
This is his book.
So same thing with the patient Worth. She later recanted as well. So a lot of these, the only one who didn't, the poet, he still has not.
He'd never recanted.
But that's why, because he didn't put a name to it, right? You got to be mysterious.
He didn't put a name to it. He just said that it was given to him from the beyond.
Yeah. So no one can sue him for that.
Beyond my butt.
Nice.
I went to college.
You did. So lastly, this is actually an urban legend, but some think that it's true, where the famous musician Vincent Furnier, use a Ouija board to find his stage name, and it gave him Alice Cooper. He's the lead singer, and I think he leads the band. The band name Alice Cooper.
I guess it was called Alice Cooper. He has a lot of Kiss-like qualities, and I wonder...
Yeah, it's really like punkish back then.
Yeah. Lair of the Hollywood Vampire.
Very dark and so on.
He founded a celebrity drinking club, the Hollywood Vampires.
There you go. That was a urban legend, and then he was actually interviewed. Oh, and it was a name from a reincarnation of a 17th century witch. Alice Cooper came from.
He's performed with Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. Alice later denied all that during the interview.
Ooh, he wrote an album that received positive reviews from a serial killer.
Yeah, so that's kind of him. Very occultic, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's Alice Cooper. So that was
Cool.
that was an urban legend, like that was tied to his name. But he said no, that wasn't true. I just
Oh, well, why am I even looking? Okay.
well, because it was just interesting how it was
side note,
tied to him. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, it is hard to deny that there is a hint of danger, and you are dipping your toe into that murky water of mystery and phenomenon into the unknown. So that's a little bit about the history of the game, or a device of unholy communication with evil spirits that some may use to connect to their long-lost lovers or relative. However, there is no block button for this game.
That's right.
And those who choose to reach a friendly soul may find themselves instead on a private line with Abrexis, great archon and demonic prince of the 365 spheres of hell. Well,
Where did you get this from?
well, that is a risk I'm willing to take.
No, you're not. 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 No, you're.
We got the game.
Where did you get that from? And why is it here?
We are going to play on our podcast
No, we're not.
a Ouija board.
No, we're not.
We are. Look,
No,
I
we're
already
not.
have it.
Where did you get that? Why is it here?
Don't worry about it. Here, come over here.
No.
You got to scoot over, baby.
I'm not.
You got to scoot over.
No.
You got to scoot over.
I'm not going to.
Your fans are demanding that you scoot
no,
over.
I'm not going to scoot over.
Scoot over.
Play it by yourself. No, because you sleep in the bed next to me and you're gonna your goat roll over me.
You can't be a paranormal investigator and not
I'm
get
not.
over here. Get over here. Stop complaining. Get over here. Scoot over. Get 2 feet. We need 2 hands on this.
No.
Get over here.
We have children in the house. Think of the children.
You can't.
I don't want to.
What about one finger? One finger. Come on. Get closer.
No.
Get-
I promised myself I would never play a Ouija board.
We have it in front of us
You need to burn it.
after this session.
I don't want to.
Come on. We're getting to setup mode.
I don't like it. That was mean. Why does it have fake blood splatter on it?
That's the only one I can find. Halloween.
You're so mean.
Okay. So, if you don't know, Katie's a little bit mentally scarred right now.
I am. I'm kind of upset.
Oh, well, don't be upset. We have a Ouija board in front of us, and you could put 2 fingers.
I know. I know what.
I'm just saying.
I've seen enough really horrible outcomes.
Really gentle, though, because you see.
I know.
Okay.
It's supposed to be able to move on its own using your energy.
Oh, man, you're so annoyed. All right, so here we go. So first of all, we are going to ask, are there any spirits within the room? This is a safe place for you to speak.
It's not. You're not welcome here.
I am Chris, and this
Nope,
is Katie.
I'm nobody.
It is super
Don't worry.
excited
Nope.
to be here
Nope.
right now. Oh, my God. Does anyone feel like communicating?
I don't think so. It's weird.
Stop it. Stop it. Anything?
I'm so mad at you right now.
Does anyone want to talk to us? Where's the yes or no on this thing anyways?
It's right
there
here.
it is.
Because I thought that said on. Stop. Okay, now
No,
you're
I'm
pulling
dragging
it.
it. I am pulling it.
I know.
All
Okay.
right, come on. Okay. So why don't you ask something? Because maybe it sees your negative energy.
It could tell I'm afraid. It's like bees.
So therefore, it may want to act more.
No, they're gonna attack me.
Ask a
It sense
question.
my vulnerability.
Ask a question.
I don't even know what I would. Do you like jam?
What? How this? Do you feel like communicating? Do you know or are you connected to anyone in this room? The candles are flickering.
No, they're not.
This is a little. What is your name? This is a little anticlimactic.
I don't think that there's anything in our house, though.
Yeah, but they're.
I kind of feel like you have to be kind of like what we were talking about, like ley line in a thin area, in an area where there is activity. I don't think you can just go to any. Stop it.
Ooh, it's moving.
Oh, okay.
Turn it.
Wait.
Okay.
We have to say goodbye, though.
Yeah, I had a whole list of questions I was going to ask it. Like,
Did you really think it was going to do stuff?
I don't know. I was going to ask, like, what's your name? Is there a message you have for us? Are aliens real? That's one. Where are you now? Where can you travel to? And I was going to have it like spell out all the names. Is the Earth flat?
Flat.
Okay, we got a show to run, so let's come. We're going to give you a couple more seconds. Do you want to talk to us? Oh, it's going to no. Good job.
It's going to make. Oh, it's spelling something.
Oh yeah. Just stop. Okay. You know what? We're not even going to say.
No, we have to say goodbye.
No,
you
we don't.
have to say
No.
goodbye. Babe, you
It's
have
all right.
to say goodbye. Put your hands back on it.
Oh my God.
We're done playing now. Goodbye.
You're moving into it.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Jeez. Oh man. So there.
I hope you're happy.
I was a little anticlimactic on that. I thought I was going to do something. Okay. So
Okay.
I hope you feel a little bit better now.
For a sexy hot date night, we can go play Ouija in a graveyard somewhere or
Oh.
in a hot spot. Not with the kids in the house. What if one of them's on fire right now?
There could be. You want to go check on them, or you?
Maybe.
No, they'll be fine. Well, if you didn't catch the panic in Katie's voice, you do have to say goodbye. Apparently, it's critical because otherwise, you're leaving the gate open.
It's leaving the doorway open.
So,
A risk I'm not willing to take.
well, I was hoping something would happen. But
Yeah, I got mad. Congratulations.
huzzah. So now that we tried, let's talk some sciencey words. Okay.
Okay, feed me some science.
Okay.
Should I really be nervous?
Well,
I'm still yes. I'm still going to say yes.
okay. Well, we're going to put you a little bit of mind because even if something happened, I was going to explain what may have happened
Okay.
other than spirits.
Okay.
So there may be something happening with the Ouija board. And when some people use it, there are actual movements.
Yeah.
And that's why it becomes very popular too, where it's moving without anyone thinking that they're moving it.
Right.
Right. So whether it's spirits or whether it's other things. And so that's one of the popularities of this piece. Right. So I always wonder what a scientist would say about this.
Yeah.
And so, well, they must have been drinking gin and tonic with our always charismatic father and expert witness,
Did you talk to the expert witness again?
because they would both say it's all bullshit.
Okay.
Okay.
I have
So
a feeling our expert witness would say a lot of things are all bullshit, though.
yeah, drinking the gin and tonic.
Wow. Yes.
Yes.
Was it after 7?
Does it have to be?
No,
So-
just that's when they really hit home
Oh,
with
yeah.
our expert.
Yeah. So we are investigators, and we found that this Ouija board effect is also known as the ideomotor effect. You ever heard of that?
No.
So that's where the planchette is guided by the unconscious muscular movement of the participants. What? So, in 1852, William Carpenter described these effects while investigating the spiritual fads of the time, like table turning. Muscular exertion guiding the planchette could produce an extremely powerful illusion of being guided by a spirit. the messages received were actually what was going through the subject mind at the time.
Kind of like tarot, where someone will read your future and you will associate your answers to anything in your life.
But
if you are like, who's my crush? And it spells your crushes, and it's like, oh, it knows. It's because you were really
thinking it and know of it. So if you are participating in a seance with an Ouija board and the message is relayed to you, such as subscribe and follow to Stop Thinking with Your Butt podcast, then you're welcome. And thanks for having us on your mind.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's something that's on your mind. So in a scientific study of the Ouija board at the University of British Columbia and its effect on the subconscious mind, they concluded that the board does sometimes spell out words and messages, but again, it's all user initiated through the subconscious. This may be why Helen, when she wrote out a relative name, subconsciously
might have been thinking about that.
Was thinking about him, or may not have been thinking, because subconscious means you're not even aware of it.
Not even aware.
But it moved to that, and so therefore she accused him, and because the board spoke, unaware of the ideomotor effect, she assumed that it was him. Right? Because act like back in the day when you cannot explain something, so therefore you draw potentially false conclusions. Right? I sympathize for those that are experiencing certain things and they can't explain it. And that's why she stated the board lies. Because to her, she did 100% believe whatever the board was saying because it was having some type of spiritual peace. Right. But it was a lie. Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Well, I am. But how does that account for, though, when there's multiple people holding the planchette and it spells the same name or thing? So are they all subconsciously thinking it?
No, it could just be one.
Or is it just one?
One could be leading.
Okay.
Right. So going back to this college that actually conducted this study.
But that's interesting because when we were just playing, and it was obvious that you were moving it or I.
Yeah. But that's because it was obvious. I was consciously trying.
So it could be like a subconscious thing. Okay.
Yep. In the study, they had the participants blindfold themselves and had an observer record the messages being sent. And the result was mostly gibberish because the primary movement is done unconsciously by the participants.
Right.
So if they can't see the board, then the brain doesn't allow clear communication. Right. So the Ouija board uses subconscious mind. It's similar to the automatic writing experience, right? That we've talked about in past episodes.
Yeah. Which is the same. It's just subconscious.
Yeah. It's where you try to slip into a clear state of mind and are writing things randomly without thinking. And the next thing you know, you have words and messages on your paper.
It's all coming from you still, regardless.
Yeah. It's all coming from you. So there's nothing paranormal about it. And in fact, David Icke did this to reveal to us that the moon was actually hollow. Right? If not, go back to episode 3. You can hear all that. But
I thought it was full of cheese.
No, that's come on, grow up. So again, the automatic writing was debunked by scientist community long ago, but it's still actually being used as therapy and as an actual psychology type of thing. But there's nothing spiritual around it. It's not supernatural, but it's all subconscious piece.
It can help.
It's like hypnotherapy.
Yeah. Or it's like how a child psychologist will ask their patients to draw a picture of their family. And children subconsciously draw their family in terms of different sizes. For example, if they draw their mom bigger than their dad, it's because their mom is more important to them.
Oh.
Or if they draw their little sister bigger than their big brother, it's because they have a stronger connection with their little sister. They don't realize they're doing it, but they're putting importance behind their drawings.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's just a different tactic. Yeah.
Awesome. So that's pretty much what the Ouija board has been concluded to be. The fact that this effect is actually maximized when the user believes that they don't have any control over what is happening. Act like someone who's impressionable, or you being scared, or someone else, where it's easier for your mind and your motors to actually start going there without you even, like, you may feel it go left, but you are not intentionally dragging it left or wherever.
Right.
Another study conducted had the participants answer a set of yes or no questions and then asked how confident they were with the answers. And they all said they were confident. They then asked another set of equal questions while the participants were using a Ouija board and asked if they were confident on those answers. A lot of them were less confident on the Ouija board answers. However, they actually answered more questions correct using a Ouija board.
Oh.
Because they can access or tap into their subconscious mind and pull stored knowledge that may help them.
Oh, is that one of those, like your first, like if you're taking a test and it's like your first thought is always the correct answer, even though you doubt it? You know what I'm saying? You know,
Potential, right? But
saying?
it's just one of the things that, like, if I don't recall something that happened to me in middle school,
yeah,
right? Well, somewhere that knowledge was stored.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's asking about it, and, you know, if I'm consciously trying to recall it, I may not recall it. But if, you know, sometimes it just hits you, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost like when words are on the tip of your tongue, you're just waiting for the subconscious to, like,
just spit it out.
Give you the right answer.
Mm.
They can access or tap into the subconscious mind and pull stored knowledge that may not be recalled. Or were they tapping into the universal conscious, where the spirits were communicating through their bodies
the universal
as a medium to send the messages through the other side? Well, that's all I have. What are your thoughts?
I can't get on this universal consciousness train, even though you've been trying to. You keep giving me a ticket every day to get on this train, and I can't board it. I'm just not there yet. Put that away.
What? What? I'm seeing if it works with one person.
For those of you who aren't in the room with me, it's a cardboard board covered in fake blood.
Yes, it is covered in fake blood. Yeah, it's hard to read, actually.
To demonstrate the innocence of it.
Here, ask me a question.
No.
Okay. Whatever. We're done, Ouija.
No. We can play later.
No, well.
I'm just giving me nervous.
I know.
I don't like it.
So that's all I have for the Ouija board, because I thought we were going to maybe get some context, so that'd be pretty cool.
If something happens, we'll have to do like a short, like Wednesday episode or something.
Yeah, we may
like
have to do a follow-up with Tales of the Ouija.
Be like, nothing happened, but but Katie woke up on the ceiling.
Crawling
With her head
on all
backwards.
fours. Yeah. No, so that was interesting. I never knew anything about the Ouija board. I've never played it growing up as a kid. Never owned it or had it or really seen it.
I always, kind of had that same knowledge, is that the Ouija board is a connection to the other side. But I was under the impression that the strongest energies coming through could potentially be demonic.
Potential.
And so that's why
You left it alone.
I never touched it. And it was like, whatever information it gives you, it's a lie.
Yeah.
And if you don't say goodbye,
That's in.
it's over. It's over.
I agree that I think there is a lot of subconsciousness done in here. And I think relating it to the automatic writings was very, it connected for me.
Yeah.
However, I do think when you talk about subconscious, other people, not me fully or whichever, but like there's a lot of people who may say, well, that subconscious piece, it's not just a you, right? There's more consciousness than just you, but even you are connected to other things.
Yeah, right.
So they're like, yeah, all the scientists did was validate that there were messages through the subconscious, which goes beyond the body. They're stating that, yeah, you just proved that it actually does connect with other entities' potential. So, spooky.
Oh, no.
So that's all I have.
I
Hopefully,
can't stop looking at it.
So don't hate me.
I don't hate you.
I thought that would be fun. And I had
Loathe you.
oh, and side note, admin note. That's why I was late coming home yesterday. I was picking up the Ouija board.
You son of a monkey. Oh, gosh. Yeah. I was like, where are you? You're like,
Yeah, don't worry about that.
I hope he's putting gas in my car. Hey, babe, your car needs gas.
Okay, so where can our audience hear us?
If they want to back up my fear of the Ouija board, they can contact us at stopthinkingwithyourbutt@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at stopthinkingwithyourbutt, or you can follow us on Twitter at stopthinkingwyb. And of course, a review always does help. If you like what you heard, leave us a review.
Tell a friend.
Phone a friend. Contact the other side. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I cannot wait for us to do a follow-up on Ouija board stories.
Ouija board didn't work. Our kids have been speaking Latin.
That's strange.
That's weird.
Yeah, moving on.
They are very smart, though.
So stay curious, everyone.
And stop thinking with your butt.
Out.
No, you're not. 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 No, you're. No, we have to say goodbye.
No,
you
we don't.
have to say goodbye. Babe, you have to say goodbye. Put your hands back on it.
Oh my God.
We're done playing now. Goodbye.
You're moving into it?
Goodbye.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Gee.